The funeral of Pogue's frontman Shane MacGowan is taking place in Ireland today following his death last week.
Thousands of mourners have lined the streets of the Irish capital to say goodbye to the star, famous, of course, for his festive hit, The Fairy Tale of New York, which his widow and friends now hope will be made #1 for Christmas.
Joining us now from over there is journalist Ken Murray, who is outside the church in Nina, where the funeral mass is due to take place. Thanks for joining us. We were told there'd be a big star turnout. Have you seen many famous faces there?
I'm afraid not. So far, it's been rather thin on celebrities. The only name of note that I've seen go into the church here in Nina is a man called Glenn Hansard. Not exactly a household name in Britain, but Glenn Hansard won the Oscar for Best Song at the Oscars back in 2007. But it's expected that a lot of high-profile names from the world of rock and roll, from politics, and indeed from public life in Britain and Ireland will attend when the Mass gets underway here at St Mary's Church in Nina at about 3:30. As you said in your introduction, the funeral cortege of Shane MacGowan got underway in Dublin City this morning at 11 o'clock. It was preceded by the Artane Boys Band, ceremonial band, and it made its way around a number of streets in Dublin. And there seems to be a theme of rebel or rebellion running through this funeral, because the funeral cortege in Dublin went to the small town of Ringsend and then made its way to Piers Street. Pádraig Pearse was a famous rebel in the 1916 rebellion in Dublin, when rebels engaged in an uprising to try and end British rule in Ireland. So Pádraig Pearse was one of Shane MacGowan's heroes, if you like. The funeral cortege then made its way into a street known as Westland Row. Westland Row is where Oscar Wilde was born, and then further on up at the top of Westland Row is a place called Sweeney's Pharmacy, where the cortege stopped. And Sweeney's Pharmacy was made famous in the book Ulysses by James Joyce. So these were people that Shane MacGowan looked up to and admired during his particular life. And one thing that's by pure coincidence, I presume, but today is actually the anniversary of the birth date of Sinead O'Connor. She was born on December the 8th. So she was another rebellious Irish woman and somebody that Shane MacGowan looked up to and admired. So the funeral procession left Dublin City at around 12 noon. It made its way down the M7. It's currently en route. Nina is about 100 miles from Dublin City, and we expect the funeral cortege to arrive here at St Mary's Church within the next half hour to 45 minutes. In terms of celebs, well, the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, will be here. In his statement last year, he described Shane MacGowan's music as music like crafted poetry. Other big names who spoke very highly about Shane MacGowan in the last 7 days were people like Bruce Springsteen, the rocker Tom Waits, and Paul Simon. There's an expectation that Australian singer Nick Cave will be here, as will Hollywood actor Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was the best man at Shane MacGowan's wedding to Victoria Mary Clark back in 2018. So these are the names that are being spoken about here in St Mary's Church in Nina.
Well, he deserves, Ken, a good turnout, I think. And, of course, I think for many people around the world, he's obviously famous for Fairy Tale of New York, which, by the way, we are hoping gets the #1. Don't forget, Shane was born on Christmas Day. You mentioned Sinead O'Connor. She was a close friend of him. She once reported him to the police for heroin use in 1999, obviously hoping to help him there. But he's very famous for his lifestyle, his drinking, his drug taking, which possibly overshadows unjustifiably his talent, the brilliance of the Pogues, his brilliant songwriting. Try to sum up what Shane MacGowan means to Ireland.
Well, Shane MacGowan was, if you like, singing Irish songs about Ireland, the Irish emigrant experience, particularly in the 1980s. And, you know, you will recall that it was difficult to be Irish in Britain in the 1980s. The IRA campaign was very active in Northern Ireland and at times spread